OBJ sounds with the Ravens. What do you think of that?
This is horrible timing because 2 weeks ago, Lamar Jackson's like, hey, I want to be traded. You guys obviously aren't going to pay me what I'm worth. This is a city where I've given my all to. I've gone out there. I've played through injuries. I've been there and supported my teammates. I've won an MVP. I was able to take over for Joe Flacco in a situation where you overpaid him and you made Joe Flacco the highest paid quarterback in the NFL when a defense led by Ray Lewis and Terrell Suggs and Ed Reed carried him to a Super Bowl. Even though he had some iconic games, he's still Joe freaking Flacco, and you made him the highest paid quarterback in the NFL, and you didn't do that for Lamar. And then you're going to go out here and be like, we're going to give Odell Beckham Jr. $18 million. Like total that he could earn this year, and it's a $15 million contract. And you're worried about my injuries. You're worried about me being a running quarterback. When Odell Beckham Jr., every other time he steps on a field, it's like he's slipping on grass, can't stay healthy. It's like, I feel bad for Odell Beckham Jr. Odell Beckham Jr. will forever be an icon in the NFL. But for the Ravens, I mean, can we lock up Lamar first? Like, is Odell like... Does he have some sort of agreement with Lamar, or are they getting closer to a deal? Is he going to help them negotiate a deal with Lamar Jackson? Because why would he be going there to play with Brent Hundley unless it's the only team that wants to get him a deal? And that's probably the only situation where I see like being actually relevant to the Ravens, because like unless no one else wants to pay OBJ, this makes no sense at all when Mark Andrews, injury prone, J.K. Dobbins, injury prone, Rashad Bateman struggled with injuries, and then you're going to bring in Odell Beckham Jr. Lamar Jackson has also struggled with injuries the past few years. Let's not pretend that he hasn't not finished the past 2 seasons and then got banged up every single time, every single year. He's been dealing with something, and then you're just going to have this superstar studded, oh wow, look at all these names, that's not going to stay on the field.
My thoughts about this so far is they went from having the 4th best receiver core in the AFC North to the 4th best receiver core in the AFC North. They're going to pay him $18 million. And I really like your point about the injury concern with Lamar Jackson, because Lamar Jackson, the last 2 years, we know he's missed 6 games each of the last 2 years. Do they not know who Odell Beckham is? Did he not just tear his ACL in the Super Bowl 2 years ago?
Yeah.
Did he not? He hasn't had a full healthy season since 2016. That's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That's 8 seasons ago. And not only that, like the hypocrisy. There's 2 things that piss me off the most about this signing. First of all, hypocrisy. Oh, I don't want to sign Lamar, the guy who is 26. He's had a couple of bang injuries the last 2 years. But let's sign the guy who tore his ACL and was on the older side of 29, 30 years old.
Yeah.
And then the best of this all is how desperate the Ravens must be, because your receiver core now will be Odell as your number 1. That's great 7 years ago. You have Rashard Bateman, who's good. That's fine. Devin Duvernay as your 3rd. Meanwhile, in your same division, you have Deontay Johnson, George Pickens, and I'm sure they'll draft a receiver. And then the Bengals, must we start with Jamar Chase and T. Higgins? And then even the Browns. They
just traded for they got Elijah Moore.
They got Elijah Moore, who's really solid. They got Donovan Peoples-Jones, who's really solid. Better than probably all of your receivers, actually. Amari Cooper.
Yeah.
Like, all of them actually have a number 1, and your number 1 is going to be the guy who has played maybe 30% of his games the last, not 1, 2, 3, 7 seasons. And he's also caused problems with Baker Mayfield. Unfortunately, Baker Mayfield's caused his own problems. That's no doubt. But like,
at home with Baker,
you're talking about a diva who's going to demand the ball, but also probably only play half the games. And you're going to pay him $15 million. Good luck, Baltimore. Good luck.
Yeah, and let's list all of the major events since Odell Beckham Jr. has stayed healthy, shall we? He hasn't been healthy since Trump was in office. We've went through a pandemic, and then we've approached the 3rd World War since Lamar Jackson, or since Odell Beckham Jr. has stayed healthy for a full season. I don't think people understand how far ago 2016 is. We had Captain America Civil War come out that year. We had Batman versus Superman come out that year. And then, oh yeah, we also had an entire Infinity Saga of Marvel movies, and you want to talk about how long it's been since Marvel has released a good movie since the Infinity War movies. Well, rewind that 3 years, and that's how long it has been since Odell Beckham Jr.'s been good.
Since he's had a full healthy season, you know who didn't play in the NFL? Patrick Mahomes. Maybe you've heard of him. So this signing is desperate, and this is really kind of like the downfall I feel like we're seeing of the Ravens. If they can't sign Lamar Jackson, and he's going to be getting thrown to Pro Bowl fucking Tyler Huntley,
Yeah.
good luck. That's the end of his career.
Oh, and all those really good receivers in the draft last year when you could have got a guy when you went up, you got Kyle Hamilton, okay, and
Nice
then you
safety.
trade away Hollywood Brown to get him, and Kyle Hamilton was the highest rated safety at his position. However, your need is not defense when you have all that talent in your secondary and you are still giving up 3-score leads. What is the point? If you have all of those dudes locked and loaded and two is gonna go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 on you, like come on the road. It's
And
like
come
you blew
back.
three-score leads at home. So it's not like you're blowing it. And then you also lost to Trevor when he was down 7-28. So it's like you lost to the Jaguars also for a 4-score lead. And then last year, good receivers. Loaded with receivers. We saw all of them shine on their
It's a lot,
respective team on the Jets, Falcons, Saints, Steelers, all got star players at receiver. And then Kenneth Walker to the Seahawks, even some talent at running back, which you also need. But you should have filled that need while it was available in the draft last year because it's not this year. There's some good safeties this year that you could have used to draft instead of trading for Kyle Hamilton. But it's like you almost just set Lamar up to fail last year. And now you're not going to be able to get a superstar wide receiver like you could have got last year. And instead of trading Hollywood Brown, what if you traded him for, I don't know, someone comparable to Garrett Wilson or George Pickens? If you have George Pickens and Rashad Bateman and Mark Andrews with Lamar Jackson's productivity of 10 points as soon as he steps on a football field, then you have a team. And you
Yeah.
also could have got Kenneth Walker too.